is Adrian. I did computer-assisted instruction as my topic. So as far as the description, computer-assisted instruction is also known as computer-based learning, or CBL, as well as computer-based training, or CBT. This type of learning is promoted in primarily the cognitive domain. There are 3 different types of domains, which I will talk about in the next slide, but you just have to know that this one is primarily the cognitive domain. So CAI is pretty much when computers are used as a self-study, multimedia approach to teaching and learning. So when computer programs are used to actually deliver an educational message. CAI increases both the efficiency of learning as well as the retention of information. So not only is your learning more efficient, but you're actually able to retain that information longer. And then last, it's much more common with the increase of computer literacy. Computers are everywhere, and today's generation is very well-rounded when it comes to technology and computers, so this makes it much easier to learn. So next, like I said, this is the cognitive domain. The 3 different types of domain are cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. So the cognitive domain is a domain that focuses on the way in which one thinks and obtaining facts, concepts, principles, and other abstract ideas. So it's not quite hands-on, it's more learning. So below here, I listed a few examples of cognitive domain. So the first one, individuals with learning or visual disabilities are able to use screen readers, converting electronic text to spoken text. So this is nice, especially if you have a patient who is blind and cannot read a book or read a handout for their education. They are able to hear thanks to computers. Telemedicine technology is just as effective as in-person teaching regarding diabetes control. So this is pretty much just saying that computer education can be just as effective as actually having someone in front of you, teaching and going over different ways to not only control diabetes, but any type of education that your patients require. And then last, Flash, QuickTime, and Acrobat Reader are a few tools used to provide education workshops on the computer. So you guys may be familiar with these. There's many more out there, but these are definitely used when you need to watch different educational videos. And then next, so like anything, we have our pros and our cons of computer-assisted instruction. So the pros, it does increase the amount of information retained due to quick feedback. Overall, computers can be fairly quick when they decide to work, so when they are working, it's pretty quick in giving us our feedback. Durin Winfield and his team actually did come up with a study that proved that computers do overcome literacy barriers. Their study is significant because it demonstrates that CAI is a feasible method for overcoming literacy barriers in medical care, despite limited literacy patients' lack of computer experience. So they don't necessarily need that experience, but it does help patients that have a limited literacy. Next, a large database. As we know, we can pretty much find anything we want on the computer, wherever we want on the computer, so this is definitely helpful in education. Instruction can be individualized for each learner's preference. Everyone learns at a different pace, so in this case, there's all different types of education that can be found. And next is time efficient. Like I said before, computers are fairly quick, so it does actually speed up the education, at least being able to find different education points. Next, it does increase self-efficacy. Previous studies have actually demonstrated that CAI can improve knowledge, social support, and some health behaviors, believe it or not. And next we have our cons. It primarily promotes the learning in the cognitive domain only. Like I mentioned, it does leave out the psychomotor and the affective domain, so just the cognitive domain. I'll combine the next two. It can be expensive and it must be purchased. So obviously computers are not cheap, so you do need a computer for the computer-assisted instruction. And then different programs you do have to purchase as far as educational programs. Next, it can be complex and time-consuming. This kind of goes back to if the computer is working. If it is working, it's not too bad, but it can be complex, especially if you're trying to figure out what exactly you do. Limited use for elderly, low literate learners and individuals with physical limitations. Elderly are not too familiar with the whole computer system just because in their mind it's a fairly new thing. Low literate learners as well as individuals with physical limitations, so some patients who have a broken arm or are unable to use their arms, they have trouble with being on the computer. And last, limits one-to-one interaction with educators just because you're on the computer and you're not interacting with anyone else. So this does take back from that. So some uses in healthcare education. We have 3 different types of education I'm going to review. First is patient education. So there's many different ways that we provide patient education to our families and our patients. So first, online hospital access. They can actually access their LG Health from home. So from here they can go on, not only look and plan their appointments, but they can also check out their discharge instructions and any other teaching. YouTube videos. I actually use this for all different types of education. As long as it's a reputable source, there's some very good educational videos that you can find on YouTube. Discharge instructions. When patients are going home, they are given a set of instructions that they can go over, but they're printed off from the computer. And last, online journal articles. There's different databases that you can find online that have online journal articles for education. Next type of education is peer education. First, we have continuing education units, also known as continuing education credits. For some of us, we know that to renew our license, we actually have to have many continuing education credits. But this is a way for us to kind of help educate our peers if they have any questions. YouTube videos, like I mentioned before. Online policies and procedures. I know when I'm orienting a new nurse, I'm able to go online, pull up the policies and procedures, and teach them that way regarding different things on the unit. Hospital education. For Langsford General, that is my learning. I'm not too familiar with other hospitals' education, but this is a good way to go on. You have required learning, and then you also can search different topics and have some education on that. And last, online databases, like I mentioned. And then we have student education. So as you can see, especially going through our bachelor's program, social networking is a big deal. Very, very big in today's society. So that's growing. Wikis, which we're learning more and more about. Blogs, discussion boards, YouTube videos, and Blackboard. Blackboard's an awesome way to be able to go on and learn and have your education on the computer without having necessarily to open a book. And then here I have my references. I hope you guys learned a little bit about computer-assisted instruction that you didn't know before. Thank you.